give tips to Middle Eastern people, because I travel all the time as a comic, and they get stopped at the airport, and I give tips to Middle Eastern people. Look, if you're Middle Eastern, even if you're Indian at this point, let's be honest, don't wear anything with Middle Eastern writing. Remember this expression, dress white, make your flight. Dress white, make your flight.
Dress white, make your flight.
If you don't know what that means, 2 words, Banana Republic, my friends. Khaki pants, polo shirt with a little animal like an alligator or a tiger. No camel, no camel.
About what it does to Italy's reputation. Here you have a major industrialized power, a member of NATO, a very important leader.
Right.
You know, a guy is the head of the government, so...
Italy elected a porn star at one time into the parliament 20 years ago. This is nothing. I mean, I call him Silvio the Situation. He should be on the Jersey Shore. He could be in a hot tub with Snooki hanging out. When I watch the Jersey Shore, it looks like a Berlusconi cabinet meeting, to be quite honest. And some people call it shocking what he does. He calls it Thursday. You know, it's nothing. He's just living a life of this playboy, 74-year-old rich billionaire who happens to be the leader of a country.
I know a lot of your comedy is based in calling out American Islamophobia. So what do you think a population jump of this size could mean for the Muslim community, for Muslim American experience in this country, I should say?
Well, first of all, I must say I only have a few minutes because I have to go out and help double the population. I'm going to be busy apparently the next few years, as well, all Muslims. It's going to be a lot of work, but we're going to do it.
There's such huge crimes. I mean, Fort Hood comes to mind, the guy who tried to plant a bomb in Times Square, and those things really resonate with Americans and make them afraid, quite frankly, many of them.
No, that does. Those are the worst examples. I just wish every time there's a negative example of a Muslim, we can show the overwhelming other side of Muslim Americans who are just living their lives, who are being Americans. They're working, they have jobs, they're teachers, they're policemen, they're congressmen now, they're involved in the government, they're doing all the positive things that all the other groups. Unfortunately for us, and I don't think it's alone for our minority group, but, you know, we talk about that. The negative ones are the ones who define us. Our worst examples define us. And it's up to us, and I think working with the media, to try to, you know, counterbalance that, to show the positive, funny ones out there, the good ones, the typical ones.
Already? So was it a pile-on at that point?
It was great. Seth was great. He did kill him. And I don't understand, Trump's got such thin skin, but his face looks like leather. You'd think he'd be much tougher about things.
I know, it's true.
Trump should have taken the high road. He didn't laugh at all. He should have laughed. He should have tipped his hair to him, take his hair off like this, and enjoyed the moment of just having a good time.
Tonight on Nightline, X-ray vision as anger over TSA pat-downs reaches a boiling point.
So how to balance security and privacy?
You got to man up.
Comedian Dean Obeidallah wrote an article on the subject called "The TSA Wants to See Your T&A."
You know, because you have the option. It's either going to go be seen naked or be touched by, it sounds like a drunken frat boy on prom night. I mean, everyone's so afraid they're going to grope you. You have professionally trained people who have to touch you appropriately.
You've actually started a Twitter group called Comedians for Palin. That sounds so horribly partisan. I mean, there are plenty of politicians to go around, isn't there?
There are, but this has to do with presidential politics. There has been political comedy, but for the last 2.5 years, I think we've been in a political comedy recession when it deals with presidential politics. And not that Obama doesn't give us some material here and there, but there's not a specific take on him. Remember President Bush? He couldn't speak English well. Obviously, President Clinton had the sescapades. And what's funnier, a joke about Obamacare or a joke about how President Bush used to say, instead of Al-Qaeda, Al-Qaeda, and it went from a Middle East terrorist group to a Mexican restaurant. So, you know, we're hoping Sarah Palin can give us that. And she'll create jobs. Because all those people who lost their jobs from the Bush comedy industry, you know, like the Bushism books and the Bush dog toy and toilet paper, they're going to be back in business better than ever with the President Palin in the office.
Comedians, we spoke with 3 of them to get their take on race relations, current events, and whether the presidency of Barack Obama makes for good punchlines.
I will tell you, everyone in our community, when something bad happens, you know, we hold our breath and hope it's not. We're not involved. Like when the plane landed safely in January in the Hudson River, I can assure you every Arab in New York was like, please don't let Arabs be involved in this, please don't let Arabs be involved. And they're like, well, it was geese. Like, please don't let Al-Qaeda be training geese. We don't want geese of mass destruction out there. I tell people I like President Obama so much because he represents to me that maybe anyone in America could be president. Maybe there'll be an Arab president, you know, not now, many generations from now. I don't think Americans are ready, but I don't want like an Arab American president. I want a real Arab president, like open shirt, gold chain, smells like lamb a little bit. He goes out like, hello everybody, how are you? I'm your President Mustafa Mahmoud Abu Saeed al-Masri, but please call me Mike.
Was it the right call here to talk about a comedian? Dean Obeidallah joins me. Dean, listen, before I show you this clip,
Yes.
I thought that was funny.
No, I agree it's funny, and in a comedy club, it's completely fine. There's nothing at all wrong with it. But here's the truth. He was not cut off for making those jokes. If you watch a tape, he was cut off 10 minutes later when he started making fun of Republicans. That was the problem. He started talking about Romney, he started Pawlenty, when he mentioned Michelle Bachmann, they cut him off and shut his microphone off. This is the party that says we don't want regulations, I guess, except when you're making fun of us, we're going to censor you.
There's this new Pew Research poll out that shows the Arab world dislikes America as much as ever, despite its desire for democracy. Why is that?
Well, when I've been in the Middle East, and I've been performing stand-up comedy the last 3 years there a lot, from Egypt to Saudi Arabia, I saw, honestly, I was there the day after President Obama was elected, and crowds of over 4,000 people in Cairo cheering for President Obama. I was in the Middle East in June 2009 when he gave his Cairo speech. I was performing in Muscat, Oman, and believe me, he had the Arab world at hello, or more accurately, at salam alaikum. But recently, I've noticed the crowds have diminished and they're cheering for President Obama. It's not a dislike for American people or America. It's a disappointment, frankly, in you have this great rhetoric saying we're going to change, we want the Arab world to be our friend, and I liken it to the fact that, like, America's like the cool kid in high school, and the Arab world wants to sit at our cafeteria table with us and be our friend, and they see Israel sitting with us all the time. They want to sit down. They want to swap the falafel with apple pie, and we have a good time together. And sometimes I think that they feel that they're kept at arm's length.
News media outlets that I was watching, it's all about, should she have walked off, shouldn't she? They forget what he said, which was...
Muslims killed us on 9/11.
Yeah.
Which is, it's so irresponsible. A man like Bill O'Reilly, who's been on TV for a lifetime, let's be honest, I think he knows exactly what he's saying. The idea, you know, if he would have said, terrorists killed us on 9/11, that's fine. My family's Muslim. No one called us and said, hey, we're going to attack 9/11. What do you think? We had no poll. And it's odd at this time where we have this hate rhetoric going on, to the point I even get hate mail saying, go back to your country. I'm like, I'm from Jersey. You know, I know Jersey's a different country to certain people, but I mean, it's a weird time where people lump Muslims together all the time with Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda's not building a mosque. It's American Muslims building a mosque.
Yes.
Different situation.
First of all right, guys. Dean, you support this heckler, right?
I do. I mean, to me, this was the cherry on the wiener sundae. I mean, after what we had gone through, actually, I think Benji raised the discourse of this whole discussion. Well, you know, it's not like I'm without sympathy for Anthony Weiner, but on some level, I mean, it built to a porn star having a press conference calling for his resignation. This is just completely in line with it. The only people I feel bad for are the senior citizens who were sitting there at the senior center where the whole resignation was there, just going, why is he yelling about the penis? You know, so I felt bad for them more than Anthony Weiner.